Hey motives, how we feeling today? I hope you're feeling great. I hope you are living good. And let's jump right in. So today we're going to talk about letting go of comparison and fostering self-love in a social media age. So y'all know I always got to have the quote for you, right? So by Brene Brown, she said, because true belonging only happens when we present our authentic and perfect selves to the world, our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance. And that's from positivepsychology.com. And I love that quote because it means a lot and you can take it in different ways. So I'm going to tell y'all a little story about the trap of comparison in the social media area. So I remember scrolling through Instagram one evening, and within 10 minutes, I had convinced myself that every entrepreneur was more successful, more disciplined, and way more put together than I was. Ever had one of those moments? Well, today, we're diving into one of the biggest roadblocks to self-love in our digital age, comparison. Social media has a funny way of making us feel like we're constantly falling short, whether it's comparing our looks, our careers, or even our daily routines. But here's the truth. Comparison is the thief of joy. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to let go of comparison and embrace self-love, even in a world that's constantly showing us filtered versions of perfection. So the nature of comparison. It's human nature to compare ourselves to others. We've been doing it long before Instagram, but social media has taken it to a whole new level, honey. Suddenly, we're not just comparing ourselves to the people in our lives, but to millions of strangers from all around the world. A little bit about psychology behind comparison in simple terms. So our brains are wired to seek validation and social approval. So it's easy to fall into the trap of measuring our worth against what we see online. But here's the catch. We're often comparing our behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. Take a second to think about a recent time you felt bad after scrolling through social media. What were you comparing yourself to? Was it someone's career, appearance, or lifestyle? How did it make you feel? So let's break down the illusion. We have to remember that social media is a curated space. People show their best moments, their achievements, their perfectly filtered vacations, not their struggles or insecurities. Comparing ourselves to this illusion of perfection is like comparing apples to oranges. It just will not work. So let's chat a little bit about the negative impact of comparison on self-love. It takes an emotional toll. Constant comparison can erode our self-esteem. It makes us question our worth, our progress, and even our identity. You start thinking, why don't I have what they have? And before you know it, you're spiraling into self-doubt. I remember seeing a friend post about a huge family milestone while I was in the middle of a tough breakup, and it hit me hard. I started doubting every decision I made and if it was the right one. I love my friend, but couldn't help think about the shambles relationship that was a part of my life at that moment. Comparison can become a vicious cycle. The more we compare, the worse we feel, and then we go back for more validation. It's like trying to quench your thirst with salt water. It just makes you more thirsty, boo. I encourage you to reflect on how comparison has impacted your self-love. How often do you catch yourself comparing your life to someone else's? How does that comparison affect how you feel about yourself? Let's shift our focus from comparison to self-love. So the antidote to comparison is self-love. When we love ourselves for who we are, flaws and all, we stop needing to measure ourselves against others. We realize we're enough just as we are. Redefine your success by really thinking of what success and happiness look like for you personally. Instead of measuring yourself by someone else's standards, take a step back and ask yourself, what does success look like for me? What makes me happy? Let's discuss the importance of self-validation. We need to stop seeking approval from others and start giving it to ourselves. You don't need likes or followers to prove your worth. You're already valuable, just as you are. Now that goes for me too, okay? Life is a marathon, so just try to do your best every day. Challenge alert, challenge alert. Woo, woo. I challenge you to take a break from social media for a day or a week and see how it affects your self-esteem. How do you feel when you're not constantly seeing what others are doing? Does it help you focus more on yourself? I know personally for me, it does. I'm on social media to post content. I might scroll some of it maybe an hour or two a day, and that is it, boo. I'm on this to support my fellow entrepreneurs, maybe like a baby's picture, and I am out, okay? So besides my social media content and promoting my podcast and my other endeavors, I must say I do feel like I am happier, and it feels good not to indulge in the gossip or irrelevant social media stuff anymore. I have a few practical steps to let go of comparison. Step 1, curate your social media feed. Start by cleaning up your social media. Unfollow or mute accounts that make you feel bad about yourself, and follow people who inspire and uplift you instead. Step 2, practice gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful tool to help shift your mindset. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, it becomes easier to appreciate your own life. Try starting a gratitude journal where you write down 3 things you're thankful for each day. Step 3, celebrate your wins. Stop downplaying your achievements. Take time to celebrate your own victories, no matter how small they may seem. Your journey is unique, and every step forward is worth acknowledging. Step 4, focus on your progress, not perfection. Remember, no one's life is perfect, no matter how it looks online. Instead of chasing perfection, focus on your own progress. Ask yourself, am I growing? Am I learning? That's what truly matters. I push you and encourage you to take a few minutes to write down 3 things you love about yourself. What are your strengths? What makes you unique? Embrace those qualities and remind yourself of them when comparison creeps in. Let's foster self-love in a social media age. Now, the power of affirmations. Now, y'all know how I feel about an affirmation. Y'all know how I feel about an affirmation. You might as well call me affirmation. I have a list of affirmations hanging. It's the first thing I see, the last thing I see at night. I do not play about my affirmations, babe. Positive affirmations are a great way to boost self-love. When you catch yourself in a comparison trap, counter those thoughts with affirmations like, I am enough, I am proud of my journey, or I celebrate my uniqueness. Build self-compassion. Self-love starts with self-compassion. Be kind to yourself when you fall into the comparison trap. It's normal, but remind yourself that you're doing your best, and that is enough. Be mindful of your social media use. Social media isn't the enemy, but how we use it matters. Be mindful of how much time you spend online and how it makes you feel. If scrolling makes you feel worse, it's okay to take a step back. Find inspiration, not comparison. Instead of comparing yourself to others, use social media as a source of inspiration. Follow people who motivate you, not because you want to be them, but because they encourage you to be the best version of yourself. Now here's a few real-life strategies to help you embrace your journey. So, there was a point where I realized that I was constantly comparing myself to others, and it wasn't helping me grow. It was holding me back. I decided to focus on my own path, and that changed everything. Reflect on your own journey. What are some of the milestones you reached that you're proud of? Take a moment to acknowledge how far you've come, even if you're not where you want to be at. Celebrate uniqueness. We all have our own timelines. Someone else's success doesn't take away from yours. Embrace your unique path and remember that you're exactly where you need to be in your journey. Spend the next week focusing on your own progress, not on what others are doing. Set a personal goal, no matter how small, and work towards it. At the end of the week, celebrate what you've achieved. Feel free to message us and let us know how it went. So, let's reclaim our self-worth, baby. We've explored how comparison can erode our self-love, especially in the social media-driven world. But we've also learned how to let go of those comparisons and embrace self-love by focusing on our own unique journeys. Remember, your worth isn't determined by likes, followers, or anyone else's opinion. You are enough, just as you are. And the more you love yourself, the less you'll feel the need to compare yourself to others. Comparison might be a natural part of life, but it doesn't have to control us. Let's take back our power by focusing on what makes us unique and celebrating our individual journeys. This week, I challenge you to, whenever you catch yourself comparing, pause and replace that thought with the affirmation of self-love. Watch how your perspective and your self-esteem begins to shift. I'll see you guys next week, and as always, always love. To respond to a question, make a suggestion for an episode, to be a guest, or give feedback, reach out to us at info@tonemotivates.com. You can also find us on social media at Tone Motivates on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and at Shades of Tone _podcast on Instagram and Facebook. And as always, you can find us at tonemotivates.com, where all of those links are as well.